Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and today Eitan and I are revealing the mysteries behind the Kabbalistic concept of elevating sparks. This is not only the week, but part of the 3 weeks of the year where we are being guided and, in a way, forced by the universe to face the missed sparks that we ourselves failed to elevate throughout the year. We're going to better understand what does it mean to elevate sparks, what do those opportunities look like, and then the real reason behind that system of connection, which gives us a lot of information and understanding about our own personal purpose as well as humanity's purpose in creation. And if we do our jobs, the result will be that you'll leave today's episode really understanding more why the specific challenges keep presenting themselves in your life and how to best take advantage of both the uncomfortable and the unwanted moments that might seem to appear more frequently in the next couple weeks for not only your own benefit, but for the benefit of all humanity. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we provide our listeners with the most practical and powerful tools to navigate the coming 7 days as given to us by the Kabbalists. And as a result, every episode ends up offering timeless wisdom that will not only serve you this week, but will serve you any week of the year, any year of your life. And so as we take the influence of this week's portions and the secrets that we learned from the Zohar and the Kabbalists, as well as the fact that we're now in that 22-day process that helps us to in a way, go back, dig deeper, reach even more internally to identify what our role is in any given situation. We ourselves, and for our listeners, want to make sure nobody misses those opportunities. So, Eitan, how do we begin this conversation?
When we talk about the journey of transformation, the journey of tikkun, the Kabbalists really are talking about the journey of elevating sparks. What does it mean? The collective soul of humanity, which represented by Adam and Eve, through what we call the sin of Adam, what they've done, they took aspects of the light of their soul, and those aspects of the light of their soul, we call it sparks of light of the Creator. And they deposited it in the negative system called shells, klipot, the impure system. In each one of us, which is part of the collective soul, as a job to bring back, to elevate sparks of our soul, sparks of the collective soul, back to be felt through our soul. What does it mean? When I'm reactively speaking bad about someone else, and I'm getting some temporary relief, what I'm doing, I'm taking part of the energy of my soul, which was all energy came from my soul, which is as extension of the light of the Creator, and I'm not revealing that energy of my soul in a soulful way as light in the world. I'm actually investing that energy of my soul in negativity. That negativity that I'm invested in Kabbalah called klipot, shells, the negative system. Every time I'm channeling my thoughts, my words, my action in an ego way, in a selfish way, in a reactive way. What am I doing? I'm draining my soul from the sparks of light that's supposed to nurture me, nourish me, elevate me. More I'm channeling my energy, my sparks of light towards negativity, more negativity have control over me. And that started since Adam and Eve. And the job of humanity, and each one of us is part, have spiritual responsibility as part of the collective soul, is to return back some of the sparks of light that Adam deposited, which is us in our original level, and throughout our lifetimes and this lifetime that we deposited them. That's called returning, elevating. And tikkun, the journey of transformation in this world, is not just I came to be nice, I came to be kind, I came to be giving, I came to this world not to react or to accept certain moment with love. It's much deeper and specific. Kabbalistically, every person in my life, every challenge in my life was designed to give me an opportunity to elevate back, elevate sparks, elevate energy, elevate light, where previously was deposited in darkness. Include every food comes to my table, actually, or every prayers that I'm doing. Every moment in this physical world is a moment of, it's not just appreciate the light, be present. It's the moment of elevation is needed. The Israelites, and that's what the portion of the week is, Matot and Masa'ei, the Torah tells us that it took the Israelites 40 years, the journey in the desert. So the idea of being in Egypt in our life represent when we are totally blind to our negative force, reactivity, issues, spirituality. That's Egypt. Sinai, this journey, represent the journey of transformation, the journey of elevating spark. Israel, representing achieving total alignment with the light, all the sparks are elevated. So in every process in our life, we have Egypt, desert, Israel. It says in the Torah, it took the Israelites 40 years to go through the desert. And they stopped in 42 different stations, different places, and the Torah give name to each one of them. Each one of them represent a test. What does it mean to elevate sparks? You're facing a situation, you are tested. Suddenly your reactivity is triggered. Your selfishness is triggered. Your complaining nature is triggered. Speaking bad is triggered. Losing trust is triggered. By me overcoming it, I'm actually attaching myself to the sparks of light instead of to the negative side. And I'm taking the sparks of light with me and ready to my next station. So the 42 station they stop physically represents 42 aspect in the tikkun process, in elevating sparks process each one of us need to go through in our life. We're learning from the Kabbalist. That journey of the 42 station could have taken place in 11 days or 40 years. And the secret is when I'm not learning my lessons, when I'm still a victim, when I'm not learning, I have lesson, I have transformation. Elevating sparks me transforming something in the past I didn't transform, needs transformation, needs change, needs letting go. I'm so upset about the unfairness of the other person, while the sparks I need to elevate it when I didn't express true empathy. So instead of focusing what was wrong with the other person, feel their pain. Does it mean in every situation? No, each one of us have our own unique sparks we need to elevate. And as long as I'm not going to feel the pain and actually be in a state of empathy, I'm going to keep attract this station in my life, this stop in my life, this journey in my life. And it will be again painful and again until I'm going to learn, what is the unique sparks I need to overcome here? No matter what the Kabbalah is saying, we all will have to go through these 42 steps to achieve our perfected self. Will it happen in 11 days, 40 years, 2 lifetime, 10 lifetime, 50 lifetime, 100 lifetime? With ease or with pain, it's up to our proactive. We have to look at life as opportunity to elevate sparks. So the whole idea of this week, especially it's within the 3 weeks period, which our old issues presenting themselves, is how mindful we are to the fact it's all opportunity for me to elevate. Nothing is about the outside. Nothing is about the other people. So now we'll share, and Elisheva, I would love to ask you, what is some of the specific examples of elevating sparks, shifting the perception from external versus asking the question, what do I need to elevate within me, outside of me?
Yeah, I actually, you mentioned almost all of them very quickly while you were talking, so I'm glad we got a chance to break it down and develop those concepts, because I think each opportunity is different and it's never one or the other. There may even be multiple opportunities in a specific example. And I went through something this week that really illustrates what you were talking about so perfectly. I think the first thing and the main thing, which you explained pretty in depth already, is the internal transformation, right? I see something happening in my life. Maybe it's a situation I've been in before, or it's a struggle, or feels like a blockage. That is really the universe saying there is light in here for you to extract, whether it's through becoming more humble, injecting more certainty, being more joyful in the process, taking responsibility, transforming your desire, overcoming the voice of your opponent. There's some sort of unseen internal work by which you will elevate that spark. So when you find yourself, not only in this week and not only in the 3 weeks, but at any time, in a circumstance where your reaction is to change the circumstance, instead ask in that moment, how can I become more like the creator? Because that will always tell you what, even if you can't identify if you're angry or frustrated or you feel judged, the question is really, how in this moment can I be more like the creator? And through that transformation, you extract the spark that's hidden in yourself, in that area of your life, even in that, sometimes it ends up becoming in a relationship, that there is a repetitive pattern in a relationship because I'm not willing to look at my role and what I can change. And the moment I do, and that spark is elevated, that barrier no longer needs to exist between me and that other person. So I think a large majority of those sparks fall into the category of the internal transformation. You mentioned another one. You said food on the table, but I think it extends even further. It's in physical things. Sometimes it's through our clothes or furniture. Sometimes I remember once Michael Berg shared a story. This happened years ago before everybody had GPS on their phone, that he was going somewhere and he got very lost. And he stopped at a gas station and he got a drink from the gas station, and he had this thought, maybe the whole reason I got lost was because this iced tea has a spark in it that was waiting for me to elevate. And if I didn't get lost, which seemed like a mistake, but if I hadn't gotten lost, I never would have found the spark in this drink. So it's some of those sparks are physically hidden in things, objects, even in nature. And we often joke that, let's say, a glass breaks or a plate or something like that, something is no longer able to provide its value. It's an indication that the spark in that thing has been elevated. I think another big one is the spiritual tools that we use. You mentioned prayer. It's prayer, it's meditation, it is reading Zohar, it connecting to Shabbat and holidays and windows and times when we are elevated. We have the ability, when we're in the process of elevating our consciousness and our energy, there's always the opportunity, additional, extra, I would say, even opportunity to elevate sparks. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Can you think of anything else that I didn't
Yes, so
hit?
so 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 beautiful examples. By the way, reminding me, many years ago, I lived in Mexico, in the teaching in the Kabbalah Center in Mexico, and the Rav Berg and Karen Berg visited. And then the Rav decided we're going to a trip with few close students and few of the teachers. And the Rav asked us to park by a courtyard of a church. And the Rav decided and asked all of us to meditate, to close our eyes. And he did his own deep prayers, which is an experience to see him doing it, in a courtyard of a church. And then the Rav explained that actually some murdering and killing took place as part of the Inquisition in this particular place. So it means negative energy was created, which negative energy is whenever you take sparks of light of the Creator, spark of light of souls, and deposit it in negativity. And through this prayer says, I felt and I needed to be elevated. We all experience random moments in our life that don't make sense. Interaction with people that trigger us that don't make sense. There's always a bigger picture and purpose to them. What's the growing experience? In the study of reincarnation, it says when you have unfinished business with someone, what does it mean, unfinished business? You and them didn't learn your lessons. You're too reactive, too selfish, too blaming. And you meet again. You might feel a love-hate relationship and you don't know why. Beyond the superficial story of what they've done and what I've done, what's fair, ask yourself, what's the growing experience? Because the Creator presented windows in time for each one of us to overcome a test, to return sparks, to reconnect with the light of my soul. And if I miss that opportunity, I will have it again. But it might be in 10 years from now. And meanwhile, I'm prolonging the process of tikkun, because when the sparks of light of my soul are hiding in negativity, it means more tougher process. So sometimes we are lazy to face the reality. And that's bring us to another concept, freedom. How do you define freedom? Reactively, freedom is I'm running towards freedom, towards whatever will not cause any friction, any anxiety, any uncomfortable feeling. I want freedom, I want to be alone. I want freedom, I just want a vacation. I want freedom, I don't want to commit. I want freedom, I want to say what I want to say and to express what I feel, and I don't care. I want the freedom to want and to run after whatever I feel like. Is that real freedom? Is it possible that that freedom is a prison? That those desires are dictated by part of my soul that is captured by the illusionary force of klipota negativity, and it's actually running away from true freedom? Because real freedom is rescuing sparks of light of my soul from klipot. What does it mean? It means confronting all the uncomfortable issues in my life. I have some fears, I have some pain, I'd rather not deal with it. I'm not suggesting every second of my day I need to deal with it. But when situation comes up, and my reactive self try to suppress. No, 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 no. There's light in that experience. There's light in that fear. There's light in this difficult conversation. Don't run away from that. You'll achieve freedom by facing the situation that part of you wants to run away, but deep inside, you know, there's a growth in it, there's light in that. So, also another thing, ask yourself, what would be real freedom? We all know anything that repetitively I'm running away from will run after me. We all know that. It's not going to be freedom. It manifests itself as bad conscience, guilt, shame, or simply the universe will force me to pay attention by forcing me to experience pain I cannot run away from. So imagine we're looking at life, every opportunity in the ups and in the downs, in the strange, in the unusual, in the normal. There's no normal moment. Every moment is opportunity to elevate the moment, to elevate myself, to elevate others. That's called elevating sparks of light.
I'm listening to you and I realize that perhaps the missing step or the foundation for this work, it's important to mention, to say it directly and out loud, that our ability to elevate these sparks starts with our desire to do that work, right? And I think one of the reasons that it took the Israelites 40 years and not 11 days is because they went back and forth from desire to have oneness with the light of the Creator in their soul to desire for comfort, desire for, like you said, that illusionary freedom, desire for respect. And then, they had something happen and they remembered, oh, I'm supposed to have a desire to the light, and they moved back towards that. And then there was miracles, and the back and forth internally that they did is also part of the lesson for us, that the whole idea of embracing the journey of elevating sparks starts with me, first and foremost, prioritizing my desire for the light of the Creator, for the desire to be like the light of the Creator, to reveal my purpose, to achieve my perfected self. And that's what brings those opportunities. And obviously, we're going to experience those opportunities whether we're desiring them or not, but that's what brings our clarity on how to elevate that spark more clearly. I think about it like, a small magnet, a small desire has not a whole lot of charge to it, right? It's going to pick up a paper clip and a thumbtack, but a bigger magnet, a greater desire can move cars. So thinking in terms of how strong is my desire, how much of a daily priority is my desire to be one with the light of the Creator, to have affinity, to have a stronger relationship with the light of the Creator. Find the language that inspires you, but make that not only the first thought you have every day, but the primary thought you have throughout the day, because that's what's literally bringing the food to your plate, the people to your situations. The whole orchestration of the universe is designed for that purpose. So the more you make it your focus to extrapolate that light, the more clarity you'll have on how to do it in each and every situation. And I want to share a really, it's humbling even for me to talk about it, but I think it's a really perfect example. I had a situation this week where someone came to give me some feedback that was pretty uncomfortable. And knowing what I know, I'm doing this quite a while. I said, okay, I don't want to shoot the messenger. Obviously, this is valid. But I find that when I'm approached like this, I get into a little bit of a loop of, if I'm not good at this, why am I doing it? If people don't appreciate what, the effort that I'm making, I'll do something else. If this is not the right environment for me, I should go somewhere. Like, I get into this second guessing everything just because one person came with constructive criticism. And it was very initially hard for me to think about other things. I got into, a little bit of I would call it a loop. And then I had a flashback, and it was so wild. I remembered 22 years ago, the same person came to give me constructive criticism. And I literally said, if you don't like it, don't ask me to do it. And I walked away, and I completely, it was like I edited that scene out of my movie completely. I rejected that moment to do the internal work, thereby telling the universe, you need to give this to me again at a later date, and give me the opportunity to elevate that spark, because I gave up the opportunity for the sake of self-preservation or defensiveness or whatever. I mean, I have compassion for the version I was 22 years ago, but to have that sort of time warp and see myself and remember that feeling and feel even in my body the way that I rejected on every level, every part of that scenario, I got so excited and so inspired, because this is what it's all about. Not only do I not want the pain of being, criticized, but I also don't want to feel pain in criticism. Like, I want that part of me transformed. I want to embrace it. Look at this. It's an indication I'm doing something powerful in the world. And why would I let one person's opinion define my whole reality? But in essence, that's what happens when we take criticism as painful and rejection and we let it shut us down. So look for those moments this week, the moments that you'd rather change the person or their opinion than yourself, that you'd rather cut a source of suffering out of your life rather than look at the button they're pushing and ask, how can I heal that part of me that's being triggered? That's the real work. And of course, it's not a coincidence that it comes in the month of Cancer, when everybody is so extra sensitive. And I think now Mercury is even retrograde, so there's all these extra opportunities. Mercury in retrograde tends to create miscommunication and misunderstanding and technical glitches. And it's like this perfect storm of opportunities for us to go inward and do the work as though nobody is looking, as though it's only us in the light of the Creator. And I'm sure for some of us, it's going to be the first time that we take this cold, hard look at what's going on, and we decide, I'm done with the lies, the illusions. I want to do the real work of my soul once and for all. Sorry for that. I guess through sharing it, hopefully somebody else is going through it somewhere out there and is going to have a revelation the way I did. And obviously the purpose is the process. And that's part of what Elevating Sparks is about. It's not about never being bothered. It's about the transformation from being bothered to not being bothered. Eitan, any final words for everyone this week?
My final word is, while we also focus on tangible goals, and that's what's going to make me happy, actually, those sparks of light that needs to be elevated in the process, in the journey to the specific goal. Yes, we need to go through the journey to certain goals in life, but the goal is not the actual goal. The goal is this little test in the process, in the journeys, that elevation of my consciousness, elevations of others, elevations of old test needs to take place.
It's exciting. I'm excited for everyone because, one, I'm not sure we ever really broke down this concept on the podcast before, but also just the way that from all angles the universe seems to be guiding us to this focus. It's perfect. And I'm so excited for everyone to do this work this week, and also after this week too. Don't forget it. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Subscribing, following us there will help to provide you with more content to support you in living what we share every week on every episode. You can also go to weeklyenergyboost.com, where you'll find our archives. You can send us a message there, and you can also click the donate button to help make Weekly Energy Boost possible. But as always, I think this episode is a cornerstone concept, and the more people that listen to it and take it in, that's really the type of work that changes lives and changes the world. We'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.
All the best.